And just reflecting on the sorrow, the dismay, whatever it is, of Remainers and whether they should fight on, any advice?
Well, for me, as somebody who voted Remain, and like the caller just 2 callers ago, I wouldn't accept no-deal Brexit. That was the reason I was effectively left the Conservative Party. I do also think, though, that our responsibility now is to be realistic and plan for the fact that Brexit's going to happen. It's going to happen at the end of January. And we need to move the conversation on from the whether to the how, to the what type of Brexit. And in particular, obviously in London, what type of Brexit we want for London, but the same would be true if you were in the Midlands. What kind of Brexit you want for the manufacturing industry, for the car industry, if you're in Cumbria. What kind of Brexit do you want for the dairy industry or the sheep industry? What kind of immigration figures do we need to keep the health service going? So I think moving from the what to the how is going to be the key now.
But no deal, a bottom line for you too?
For me, yes, it's always been the bottom line. I mean, it was on that basis that I ran for the leadership unsuccessfully, and it was on that basis that I left Parliament. I wouldn't accept a no deal.
But just coming on to the how of the future, should we arrive at no deal by the end of 2020, what would you do? What's the campaign then? Is it try to get back in the EU?
I think we lead a very, very, very strong campaign arguing how completely unnecessary and disastrous a no-deal Brexit would be, and I would be championing that in every single way if I were lucky enough to be Mayor of London, or even if I wasn't Mayor of London. On the other hand, in the end, we've got to accept that this is now a Parliament with a majority for Brexit, and all we can really do is try to influence them and make sure that they see how disastrous that would be.
How are you going to become Mayor of London if you support Brexit in a predominantly Remain supporting city?
Because I believe, firstly, that many, many people in London like me were Remain voters who've reluctantly now accepted, particularly after this electoral result, that Brexit is happening. And secondly, because I think people understand that the responsibility of the mayor is to prepare the city for whatever comes. This is not a position as mayor where you're pontificating about foreign policy. It's about protecting the city. It doesn't matter whether it's a no-deal Brexit or a second referendum. You've got to prepare the city, and it's thinking through the details, not sticking your head in the sand and pretending now that this isn't going to happen on the 31st of January, whatever your private views are.
Do you subscribe to the view that we've heard expressed in the course of the hour that if some political leaders at Westminster just in the last few weeks had behaved differently, then the general election might not have happened and Boris Johnson might not have had a chance to get his majority?
I was actually, strangely, at a homeless shelter just now in Soho, where I was having an argument about Brexit, so I missed this discussion. But if by that you mean, should the Labour Party or the Lib Dems have allowed there to be an election at all, I think in the end they really didn't have any option. I don't think Britain could indefinitely be governed without a majority in Parliament. I think it's very bad for a country to not have any government, because it means that they can't pass any legislation at all. So I think in the end, opposition parties have to trust the people, have to be prepared to go to the people, and that one of the issues that's been going on is that we're still struggling with what model of democracy we want to go on, but at some level, you have to trust people and let them have a vote.